Four of Pentacles. What's the risk, Virgo? Why do you see it as a risk? Why does it feel like it's going to make you vulnerable to kind of go after this? This is my comfort zone card. So, you know, whenever I see this person, they're holding on to what they have. Now, it's great to know what's of value to you. Wonderful, right? Know what's of value to you. If you only have 4 pentacles, you're going to keep them safe, right? You're going to hold on to them. You're not going to leave them just lying around because that's all you have left. And they mean everything to her. That's why she holds on to them. However, she can sit there holding on to them. She won't lose them, but she won't ever have more. You know, she has to risk them. She has to go spend them, invest them, do something with them to get more than what she has. And that's the kind of tricky thing. That's where our comfort zone comes in, that, you know, I've worked so hard to have this. I don't want to lose this as well. And I kind of see that because you have Temperance coming up as the pastor foundation. It's taken you a lot to achieve this kind of balance where you are. You've been working hard. I'm sorry, I know I've skipped over this, but I'll get to that in a moment. You know, you've worked hard to achieve some kind of balance. This is the card for Sagittarius. Some of you might be dealing with Sagittarius. But I'm getting the sense that, you know, I feel like there's some, I'm going to use the word threat, but it's not an actual threat. But it's really, you've worked so hard to achieve some kind of balance, some kind of equilibrium in your life. You've been trying to get everything in order, everything fine, and there's some kind of threat to that now. And so that's why you're like, I don't know if I want to risk this. I don't know if I want to move on this. And it makes sense because you have the Four of Swords coming up at the heart of your reading. So have a look at him. He's sitting there, he's meditating. This can be the card for meditation. For some of you, there's a sense of non-communication here. You're not communicating with someone, or someone's not communicating with you. It's a general reading, right? So it plays out both ways. And it's very much about, you know, I don't know, what do I want to do here? The Four of Swords for me, and not so much in this deck because there's 4 swords there, but usually we see someone who's lying down, they're resting. 3 swords are up on the wall and 1 sword is lying next to them. And the 3 swords that are up on the wall, they're the swords that have been removed. So there's always a sense for me with the 4 of Swords that you've just gone through the 3 of Swords, the card that's before this. That's healing. That's working through some issues that you might have had, shadow work, whatever it is. You've worked through some pain or difficult energies. And now you're healing from that, right? You're taking a break. You're like, okay, great. I did the work. And that might be what Temperance was, right? Because Temperance talks about balance and moderation, peace, harmony, bringing that into your life, making sure all areas of your life have equal attention. We're not going to get everything perfect, but at least we're giving everything equal attention. And then we know what's working and what isn't. You know, what needs to be, I don't want to use words fixed, but you know, what does need to be fixed, I guess. So this is all non-action or inaction. This is all inaction here. Nothing happens. Four of Pentacles, the person sits there holding on to what makes them feel secure and stable. This person is trying to get over something, healing. This is a temporary break though, I'll tell you that. When I see the Four of Swords, I know this is only going to be, you know, quiet time for a little while. This can be recovery after a flu. This could be, you know, spa day or something. Taking a break from work, taking a break in a relationship, you know, just not needing, I need my own space for a little bit. Me time. That's Four of Swords. Letting the dust settle, letting fresh energy in. And Temperance, like I said, it's, you know, it's the card for patience. It's called patience in some decks because it's trying to get ourselves to a place where we're ready to move ahead. Well, that time might be now, my lovelies, to act on whatever it is that you want next. We have the King of Cups coming up in your present. Is this the person who is threatening this kind of balance and equilibrium that you've worked so hard to achieve? Or is this your energy? Some of you might be dealing with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Remember though, the signs don't own the cards. They just lend their energies. But he's that kind of energy. He's very emotional. He's very loving. He's very caring, nurturing energy. If this is your energy, if this is you, and I kind of feel like it might be, this is where, you know, you're very aware of how you feel. You're very aware of how you feel, but you may not be ready to express it. That's the thing with the King of Cups. Whenever I see him, especially when I see him coming up with this, and we can't just look at him in isolation. If there was all kind of, I don't know, lovey-dovey kind of more cups cards and stuff coming up here, then I'd say, oh, wow, you know, there's a new relationship. You're going from that kind of energy, but this isn't. When you've got all this in action and you've got the King of Cups coming up, this is someone who knows how they feel, but they're not ready to act on it just yet. And he will, you know, when he's ready, he will act on it, but he's sat underneath the Four of Pentacles. So I'm really strongly getting someone who's not, they're holding on to their emotions for dear life because, and it's strange because Leo got something similar as well. It doesn't surprise me. We've just gone through Cancer season. I've had a lot of people telling me about how emotional they've been, releases, feeling vulnerable. And if you've been working through that and you've gotten to this kind of stable place, you might not feel ready to express how you're feeling just yet. But please at least be aware of it. At least be aware of it. Now, if you're dealing with someone and they've done this, they've just kind of all of a sudden it's kind of lights out Vienna, like everything's just gone quiet. If someone's trying to they've figured out how they feel, they're trying to get to a place where they can express it. And I really honestly feel, it's a very simple message for you guys this time, but I really honestly feel that it's coming from this place of, hey, I worked so hard to get balanced and stable. Do I really want to do this already? Am I really going to kind of rock the boat with all of this kind of emotional stuff? It doesn't have to just be a relationship. It can be how you're feeling about a person. Yes, of course. It can be, your work. This might be your work, that you've worked so hard to keep things stable, to get your finances where you need them to be. You've been working hard on that. And your heart's telling you, well, we're not happy here. Let's go do something else, But you're not ready to express that yet or act from that heart place. I always feel like the Queen of Pentacles is always more ready to give her cup, even the Knight of Cups, than this guy. He's a king though, right? He doesn't take it lightly. That's why. Now, at least here, I think this week you'll understand why you're feeling like this. Because I kind of feel with this energy, a lot of you might be just withdrawn, reflecting, taking a step back, which is all great and good and fine. Perfect. But this week is about understanding why you feel what you feel. What's the next step once you know that? Because remember, the future doesn't just happen. It follows on. It's a projection from where we are in the present. We have the Devil coming up. And I think this is where you're going to realize, well, hang on a second. What's holding me back? Why am I not saying this? Why am I not living from my heart? Why am I not going for what I love? And the Devil is, old behavioral patterns coming back. It can be, it's temptation. That's what the Devil is. It's, temptation. It might be, if it's to do with work, that you're not going for the job that you love because you're more tempted by the money that you're getting from where you are, the stability that you're getting from where you are, right? And there's no wrong or right decision. Hopefully with the Four of Swords energy, this will give you some fresh ideas. You'll know where you want to take it. In relationships, maybe you've worked really hard to get some balance in relationships, and this is where it starts slipping, because this can be the card for codependency. You might be dealing with someone who's got addiction issues. I'll be honest, when I see the Devil and the Four of Swords, that's rehab. Someone's kind of dealing with someone who's either been in rehab, going in rehab, whether that's, a rehabilitation center of some kind to deal with addictions, or, whether you've gone into therapy, or you're taking some time out to think, hang on a second, I don't want to be doing this again. Why am I kind of falling back on this? Or why am I allowing this kind of a person to come back into my life? Or why have I started behaving like this at work again? That's what I feel here. I don't think it's going to last. And I think this is more the awareness. The Devil coming up here is more of the awareness of, this is why this is happening. Because I actually like the Four of Swords here. I like this Four of Swords here. This is comfort zone, coming out of a comfort zone, clinging to what's safe and secure. But like I said, you've worked hard to have that. I think this is about letting fresh ideas in, understanding something. This to me talks about, especially because he's meditating here. I actually talk about meditation in the outro. And I also feel you will move past this. This is a week, I think, of great emotional awareness. That's what kind of comes in. Emotional awareness. What's holding you back? What has power over you? That's going to become very clear. And I think once it does, you're off and running. We have the Knight of Pentacles coming up for you as your advice. That's your card. And the Knight of Pentacles, this is about, he's on the move. He's always, what do they all say about him? He's the slowest moving knight, but he still moves. He might be going slowly, but he still moves. That's progress from this, who's just sat there holding on to the pentacles. This guy's on a mission. He knows what to do. He knows, okay, I need to do this to kind of get this to happen. It is progress. I kind of feel there can be movement this week if you want it. But it all depends on this understanding of what's holding me back. And that might be where you are, I don't know, the beginning of the week, midweek. Because the Knight of Pentacles, that's the advice of how to move forward into the future. Why is he so slow? Well, first of all, he makes sure the job is done properly, correctly. Every step is taken carefully, right? But do you really need to be that careful if you've already done temperance? This is kind of that kind of due diligence. I feel like it's already been done. I don't know why I feel like saying that, but I feel like you've already done this. You already know the lay of the land. You know how you feel here. You know what's holding you back. You've taken a break and considered it. So let's go. Because the problem with the Knight of Pentacles sometimes is he wants a perfect plan. He needs everything to be perfect. I need guarantees. I need to know that if I do this, well, then this will happen, this will happen. So I think with him, take baby steps if you need to, but understand that their movement is kind of needed now. And I think you know that. There's no way, if you're not feeling this energy here, this kind of nothing's moving, nothing's changing energy, then this is not your reading. Because if whoever has this energy coming up, you feel that strongly. Everything's stuck, nothing's moving, either because you don't want it to move just yet, or, you know, you just kind of feel like, I can't move, something's holding me back. That energy. But the King of Cups is crucial here. This can actually be, you know, if we look at professions of the kings, I see the King of Cups as like a spiritual advisor or a therapist or a healer of some kind. And maybe he's the one that comes in and gives some kind of awareness. It might just be one or two people, but, you know, I am strongly seeing this message of a healing energy who makes you aware of this. Like I said, this is rehab. But there is healing here. And then things can get moving. So whether that's you or someone that you're dealing with. Right. Let's see what we've got coming up for you from the Oracle cards. See, I was right. The King of Cups is not saying how he feels. That's very much the message this time. Because we have speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change someone's life, including your own. Yeah. That's what I would tell him. Tell him. If I could speak to this guy, I'd say, just say it. Just say it. It's actually, you know, I think it would be very freeing to say that, because then you can figure out if this is about a relationship. And this doesn't feel like there's any movement going on in this relationship whatsoever. It's all stuck, it's stagnant, nothing is moving. Because either someone's not saying how they feel, they don't want to get hurt, you know, whatever it is. Whether they're dealing with something external. But it's almost as if it takes one person to say, hey, look, this is how I feel. And then you can figure out, well, you know, what's holding us back? Why can't we do this? That's kind of the energy here. I love this card. And, you know, this is not being at all flexible. And you couldn't be, right? I mean, you've had to be, whatever it is you're doing, you were restoring balance to your life. But flexible says, I mean, the example that they always give for the message for this card is, imagine an oak tree, right? And the oak tree has its roots deep in the ground. And so if there's a storm, no matter what comes up, that tree is it's going to sway in the wind because it's flexible. Whereas some kind of rigid structure like a house or something, it might get blown over because it's not able to give. And flexible says, know what your core truth is, know what your deal breakers are, right? But then move forward from there. The things that you can be flexible on, be flexible on them, because that's how new opportunities come in. That's how, you know, sometimes we can be so rigid in our thinking in that it has to look like this, it has to be like this, or I'm not giving up anything, I'm not going to do anything, I'm not taking the risk. Knight of Pentacles, right? Baby steps. It's not about compromising your core values. Never do that. And he knows what his core values are. He's a king. But, you know, the knights they are mutable, they are flexible. They can change up things, and that's kind of, I kind of feel like there is this kind of flexibility coming in. That's the best way forward anyway. I mean, even with the devil coming up here, that's being held back. But the devil's about the illusion of something has control over you or power over you, because you can free yourself. Okay, and it says, dearest you, if you allow your awareness to settle in, you will hear us whispering sweetness and encouragement to you. You will know the truth of things that cannot be discerned through the material world. And that's the devil, right? He is materialism. And you have pentacles coming out. That's the tangible. That's, you know, that's earth energy. You will know the truth of things that cannot be discerned through the material world. The receiver for this kind of essential knowing is your intuition, which is not your sixth sense, but your first, the primary navigational system of your soul. And the King of Cups is very intuitive. You are entering the age of consciousness. It's time to accept that the paranormal is normal. Human beings are multisensory, multidimensional beings. Spirit infuses all things, and your soul's job is to discover those essential truths here on earth where we all agreed to play. Today, trust your spidey sense, read between the lines, tune into the stories behind the stories, and your world will show you miracles. Fear not, for we are right here and Spirit loves you. Trust the invisible. And that is, like I said, the the court cards from the Suit of Cups, they are very intuitive. You know, that whole, I always say this, your emotions, they're your divine guidance system. So if you're feeling something, what you're going to do with those, that's kind of telling you where you are. And he's a king, so he has the knowledge of that. And you've worked hard to get to this kind of stable place. I mean, for some of you, it might be the devil. It's a fear, because I always see the future as a projection from where we are, right? If I give in to this, I just freed myself, like, from, I said that once actually, when I had broken up with someone. I'd just gotten over an ex, and then someone was talking about me getting into another relationship, and I was like, hey, I just got out of rehab, I'm clean, I don't want to get, you know, get shoot up again. That's kind of what it feels like sometimes, and it could be that here. But, you know, baby steps, as long as you take some steps. So this is all very stuck energy. As long as you move forward, know what your core values are, speak your truth there, don't be afraid to say how you feel.